Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Swemp Electronics Football Alliance Division 2 Matchday 17. Can't believe we've got this far already. I am joined tonight by a legend of the Super League, a caretaker manager extraordinaire, and a wonderful man, Mr. Stephen Fife. Good evening.
You are far too kind, but thank you very much. I am glad and proud to be joining you once more.
Yes, of course. It's been a few weeks since your debut, where, to be honest, you were going into it not so much blindly, but by not really seeing too much of the league, and you did a great job commentating. Now, of course, in charge of Gondor for tonight, bottom of the league. How are you feeling?
I mean, when you're down there, the only way is up, as someone once sang, isn't it? I'm a big fan of the underdog story. I'm a big fan of Swan, and I'm hoping to do him proud tonight.
Yes, Yaz it was who had that song in the about 1988. Yaz and the Plastic Population. There we go. We have some people in the chat there. Quinton Fortuna, good evening. Yes, and Mike Savage is here as well, ready for his OT side. And Jim Phillips is in. I thought he'd turn up tonight. We've got a big game coming up of Roundhay and Stackington. So looking at the league table as it stands, Dalgety Rangers now top of the league, taking over from the Blues, who their recent form has not quite been as they'd have expected. Wolfman is in. The Wolfie is here. He's cheering on the OTs tonight. And then, of course, we've got Trumpton in third, and Roundhay have made a move from sixth in recent games up to fourth in the table. Obviously, as a manager who's just coming into this, which teams do you enjoy the most, Gondor aside?
It's difficult to say. Like as you alluded to, I've not had too much exposure, but I have been trying to catch up over the course of the last couple of days, trying to give myself some background detail. I think for the masses watching, what they want to see is goals. So it's not as much which teams are good to watch, because you would obviously pick the teams at the top. You're more interested in who isn't so good to watch, and you look at that 16 games in, and Dangley's with a miserable 8 goals, OT's 11, Gondor obviously bottom 12. You look just above them, 76ers 14 goals.
Yeah, it's not been the best to say they've won the cup.
And then you look, just a couple of teams above, you're hitting 43s. So, this fantasy football is all about entertainment value. And if they're not entertaining, they need to sort their act out.
So to look in terms of pure entertainment value on goals, I would say that would be Dalgety Rangers and Stackington with the 71 goals in their games. Unless anyone's going to go and do the maths and say that someone else has beaten that, but I don't think so. 71 in the 16 matches those teams have played.
Yeah, that's what you want. Goals galore.
Goals galore.
For anyone who watches Super League and stuff when Swemp's not on, they'll know that historically my teams can't defend, but I'm happy to win. If I can win 7-5, it's better than drawing 0-0.
Oh yeah, certainly. It's always entertaining. I'd rather hit the 100 goals by the end of a season in a league than concede 7. It'd be nice once, but it's not going to happen.
It's like, again, the way I would look at it is it would be nice to be a supporter of like Dalgety Rangers, who seem to be a machine. They just win and win and win. But if you look at the table, the team you want to support if you want entertainment is my opponents tonight. Look, Atleti, who either win, draw, or lose. You just don't know who's turning up.
It is a real mixed bag there, isn't it? Yeah, anything could happen. And I can see Mike Savage is trying to get his goal rate up as well. He has mentioned that tonight he's going to be going a bit more attacking. Well, he's actually been attacking from the start, to be honest, since he joined the league. It's great to see. Fixtures for today then. When this first happened, this round of fixtures, it was essentially entirely top half versus bottom half. So we can see that 76ers now have dropped out of that. And it's strange to see Stackington now mentioned as a top half team. I think they're certainly a second tier team within the division. Let's say, yeah. So we've got the bottom of the table clash really in here is 76ers versus Danglies. Quinton throwing in there. You only get goals if you've got Van Nistelrooy, as I've just shown with the goal scorers chart there. The
Yeah,
fact that
well,
5 of the top 6.
once again, I just want to fly the flag and blow my own trumpet. The only reason that's the case is because not one of them had the foresight to have Mpenza.
Emil Benza, what a this is one of the things he will be in next season because
He will definitely be
someone's
in
got to take a chance, and certainly if you get if you do get a manager's job, then he's definitely in.
He's definitely in if I get a chance.
Yes, which of course we'll look forward to, and it's good to see you. Certainly this is your audition. Well, it's not really an audition when you're bottom of the league, but we shall see. So your game will be on last tonight, and we shall get started and see where we're going to hit first of all. And it's Dalgety Rangers versus Grove Imperials. So, from what my understanding of how you like things, obviously Dalgety Rangers top of the league. This would not be your kind of team within this league.
It's the sort of team you understand why they're winning the league.
Oh yeah,
because there's different. What I like about what you've done with Swemp is the fact it's versatility, and one of the reasons, and we'll come to it when it comes to my game. I love an underdog. In real life, I love an underdog story. Being a Swindon fan, I have no choice but to appreciate an underdog story. We never succeed at anything. So I can appreciate the art of getting the best out of this team. And, when you've got some of my, not just favourite players on the game, but favourite players in real life, like Barry Ferguson, you've got a real appreciation for it. But yeah, if I could have a choice, I'd like a few more sort of lesser stellar names, lesser Galacticos names in there.
Like a Danny Invincible.
Like a Danny Invincible, a Steve McPhee, Fraser Bremner, as we've alluded to in the past as well.
Fraser Bremner from the OTs, of course, he's in the squad. Will he be in the Matchday 16? We shall see. So Walter Samble suspended, Emerson suspended, Agahauer, Liverani both missing out as well. They've taken a bit of a hit on their players at the moment, but the 3 yellow cards rule is certainly getting a few players affected, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is where, no matter what the concept you've gone for, this is where making sure you've got a well-rounded squad, whether it's a well-rounded squad of Galacticos or a well-rounded squad of just champ players or your favourite players from the team you support. You need to have it well-rounded because no matter what version of champ you're playing, you will get injuries, you will get suspensions. I mean, you're looking at it now and you've got those 4 players unavailable. And it looks like Nestor and Kivu could be next on the block if things don't go according to plan today.
Indeed, yeah. Looking at it, I'm seeing Nestor is approaching a second suspension in the league, so it looks like it's 3, and then it's 5. So just 2 more cards after it. Yeah, these are top of the league for a reason, obviously. Fraser Bremner out injured. The news is there coming through on the chat.
It's disgusting. That's ruined my night, that has.
We would be generally expecting a Dodgers walkover in this game, but they're up against Grove, and when you look at the kind of results that they can pull off, the kind of results that a Portsmouth team can pull off, they're pulling out some draws.
I was going to say, I remember Grove from last time. This is the Portsmouth concept, isn't it?
Yeah. And you see, you can see from that.
You look at that team, and take David James's red card, aside, because of the concept team he's gone with as in Portsmouth, there's actually some very talented players in that squad. And so, although, like you say, you would expect a home win, I don't think it's a certainty.
Not
because
at all.
You've got some players who, although they're not Van Nistelrooy, they're not some of these other players that you would have. They are very good champ players.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I've had too many of them before, but obviously we know the talents of Smurteen. Steve Wright will absolutely praise Finnan to the maximum, even though he won't always play him. And then there's players like Berkovic, who I've never really had, but I can see the point of having him.
And even if you look like, obviously, Sander Westerveld, very good goalkeeper. David Unsworth, very good defender. Curtis isn't a bad defender. I can see there's a couple of mentions of Merson there, who he's not going to be the first name if you could necessarily pick a squad as such, unless you're doing like a Portsmouth concept. But stats-wise, he's not atrocious either. So, that there's always, every team will have that one game where they can turn it on.
Yeah, and Grove, if you look at their results this season, they've had a few. They've had a 2-2 draw with Real. They've, in other scores, a bit earlier this season, drawing with Roundhay, drawing with 76ers, drawing with Dalgety Rangers last time. We must actually look at the previous result. They got an equaliser and drew with Dalgety. That's a massive result.
Yeah, so, they'll take confidence from the fact that Rangers are missing players, as are Grove. I think Campbell's a huge miss for this one.
Yes.
And it's a little bit of a shame maybe that Robert isn't playing.
This is Robert. He's made one sub appearance, disappointed, and has been kicking off a bit this season. So he's been out of the team. But it's not a surprise, is it?
He would kick off if he's only made one sub appearance.
He did it really early.
Yeah, but you can always make players happy again.
I don't know.
Again, Davis is a player who a lot of people would have had in the past, so there'll perhaps be a bit of disappointment he's not involved.
He is supposed to be on the bench, just as one late change there, by the way. He is supposed to be on the bench for Tim Sherwood.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And that's a correct move, because I'm not a fan of Tim Sherwood for personal reasons. So... But yeah, I believe that's Andy Cole again. Obviously not involved either.
Not a bad record, again, but nobody. This Grove team, nobody can score in the starting lineup of the strikers.
You say that he's got 5 in 7 starts.
Yeah, it's a good record.
He's
got most of them off the bench, I think.
But he's not even on the bench, and therein lies the question.
So Canu's gone onto the bench for the first time last time and played well when he came on. And that's why you can see the prediction from Quinta Fortuna suggests a 3-1 win to Dalgety, but a Grove goal off the bench.
I'm as I'm going to self-christen this the night of the underdog. There will be at least one underdog story. I'm going to say Grove will get a draw.
And make it 2 draws out of 2 against this team. Jim Phillips has gone for a Merson goal again. Carry on, go on.
I was just going to say, when you look at the talent in the Rangers squad, if you can be unbeaten in the 2 league games against them, then you know that you've got some quality there.
Oh yes, yeah, certainly. Steve Wright's here as well, cheering on his Radaby side already. And he's gone for a 4-1 win to Dalgety. Quinton's pointed out that the only game Robert has played, he scored from off the bench, which, it's not too bad for him. But I think Stu's not the biggest fan of Robert, but has put him in to boost the squad. But they don't actually. Well, I would say they don't need him, but they probably do.
Have we? Of basically what you're suggesting there is I've come straight in. And started asking questions of managers when I'm not even 100% sure who's managing half the teams.
You're certainly not questioning. Well, maybe you are, but no, I don't. No, I am. Like it's that. Right, we are in, and Smur team will captain Grove, and you've gone for a draw. So let's see what happens.
Score draw.
A score draw. Yes, we all want score draws at least, don't we? So it's already been Grove on the attack. And they're looking quite lively, but down the other end of the pitch, Dalgety getting started. I can see a chance there, and there's a goal. It's Rick Elmay. He's made it 1-0. So there's a lot of work to do here. Sander Westerveld, of course, not a regular starter for this team. Shaka Hislop on the bench. In fact, is it Westerveld's debut inside? It's 2-0 though, and Elbert makes it 2. This is already looking pretty ominous. But Grove can't write him off totally unless there's a third goal, which there could easily be in this first half. Elbert's on fire with his 10 so far. Vesterveld certainly not performing as a Grove goalkeeper has been this season. A chance maybe again, no, not quite. Oh, Riquelme putting one wide there as well. And another chance before half-time for Grove has been put off target. No one's really setting this game alight in the last 15 minutes. Will it be 3 before half-time? Will it be 2-1? No, both teams gone forward. And it is half-time. Elbert absolutely dominant in this one so far.
It's been absolutely bang average from Grove. I think they said there that every player's on a 6. They've had 3 attacks, but none on target. You know, you're right. The quality is clearly shining through here, and Dalgety, deservedly ahead.
So there's some cheering on for Shaka Hislop. Wolfie went for a 2-1 to Grove, which was unfortunately pretty early on ruled out. Comments about Elbert as well. Difficult for Grove to do much, absolutely. Tato, who's in here as well tonight. Good to have you here. So Elbert has played it in a set-up Riquelme, and then for his own goal, he scored a diving header, not an own goal, but for his goal, a diving header from across from Aymar, lovely. And the other contribution he made in the half, has he made some dribbles as well? 7 dribbles in this first half. No wonder he's on a 10.
Yeah, it's been a sensational first half performance from him, really. Like everything he touched has gone right. And then you look vice versa, and Nicky Franco, you know, for all of his reputation, has done virtually nothing.
Van Nistelrooy's been fairly quiet as well, but I suppose hasn't needed to be in action.
Well, not every Van Nistelrooy can be a goal machine.
This one so far has 11. He's one of the joint top scorers in the league, but you know, today it's a bit of a quiet one. And yeah, loads, mostly 6s, a couple of 5s at the back as well. Unsworth and Curtis.
The 2 I said that weren't bad defenders.
Well, they're not usually. They're certainly not usually. We will be making a half-time change here that Dario Silva will come off, and we'll see Kanu for the second half. Just looking at how Dario Silva at the moment, potential shin injury. It must be the shin that he still has. So let's take him off for Kanu. Okay. Still not as good as my Yavin. Your Yavin, yeah, he's now back on top of the goal scorers chart, Wolfie, isn't he, in the first division? So, second half is underway, and will there be any difference made from Grove? It looks like Van Nistelrooy's had a chance for Dalgety already, and it's more likely to be 3-0 than it is to be 2-1, but we shall see. That's how he lost his leg. It was, it may well have been, Steve. You might be right. So, substitutions, it's going to be Nikiforenko because he's on a 6, and this team like their 6s or less at this time. So he will come off, and it's not going to be Totti, and the reason why it's not going to be Totti is he's just been called back from the reserves, so he won't come in. So I think Brocek would be the better option with his record so far in the team.
I mean, it makes sense. You've also got the option of swapping him with Aymar and putting Van der Vaart on the left of midfield, I suppose.
Yeah, he's a potential one as well, Van der Vaart, but he's not played too much either. So I'm just thinking about the more regular players that are in there, unless there's any special requests by the managers usually. Ross isn't in tonight. Stu for Grove, I think he went to bed about 6:45 tonight, probably. After he is an early to bed guy, and I think Paul Merson may well be needing to come off as well. He's done
another
his shin in. Yeah, and he's on a 5 as well, so he's certainly one to withdraw. And it will be I mean, Patrick Berger is probably the one, isn't he? He's got a few goals. The other option was to push D'Alessandro forward and bring Sean Davis on. And it says here about Tato and Sean Davis has to be good enough to get in the Grove side.
I agree with Tato, but you don't bring Sean Davis on when you're already 2-0 down, do you?
I suppose so, yeah. You might be right there to do that. If Grove weren't a team for getting their goalkeeper sent off, I'd have predicted. I'd have suggested bringing off Lauren and putting Davis on maybe as well. Let's take Gerhard Berger off and bring on Paul Merson. The other way around, even the other way around. bring on Berger. There we go. Berger and Berkovic, star pair. So this team, notorious for pulling goals back in the last half hour, nothing's happened in the first 15 minutes since the substitutes.
Nothing has happened.
And Albert is put him on off target. His wonderful game isn't quite the same. Berkovic has hit the bar. Canu's had a chance. Grove trying to get back in with a goal late in the game. 2-1 wouldn't be a bad result for them, I suppose. But this looks a very comfortable victory. And Aymar is going off. We'll bring on Van der Vaart for Aymar, I think. Could have been a Stefan Kloss. And very, very late on, will they make it 3? Oh, a chance there. I think Ashley Cole nearly scored, but 2-0. A dull second half.
I think Grove made slightly more of a fist of it, but you can see their conversion rate shocking, absolutely awful.
Yes, hit the frame, but that was it.
Yeah, when you've got that much firepower that Dalgatti have, you'd be disappointed to only have 5 out of 10 on target. To convert 2 out of 5 is decent, but that kind of looks to me like they never really got out of third gear. They were quite comfortable and just sort of cruising around the pitch.
Yeah, Elbert managed to put 2 more dribbles in the second half. Was caught offside a few times. It was just a sort of a performance without exerting too much. Although it looks like Raquel may have a bit of a potential injury there. Yes, his knee. It is time to get Andy Cole back, I think. Quinton, you might well be right. Davis and Cole maybe in the next game for Stu. Something to think about. Something to stew over.
Ah, very good.
Andrew Quinton. Andrew Quinton. No, I think he's back to Andy again, Steve. I think he's back to Andy Cole these days. Smirty putting in plenty of tackles. And, Zivkovic, poor game. Merson had a dire match, but he's known for those. And Unsworth, poor match for him as you built him up before the match.
The thing is, that team would look so much different, with Sol Campbell in it.
David James back in. Davis.
See, people are not too, James or Vesterveld, I'm not too fussed either way, in fairness. But you put Campbell back in my opinion, you put Davis in, possibly, as I alluded to, even Robert. And Andy Cole, possibly. And I think that's got a much stronger look to it. It's certainly got a much stronger spine to it.
Yeah. Hit by injuries and suspensions recently, it's time that maybe a bit of a reshuffle came in for them. But, they're not going to finish in the bottom 3. I can't imagine that happening.
Well, let's not rule anything out yet. I've not got started.
And certainly, I'm saying that to provoke a few managers in the chat there. Let's see if anything comes back from it. So, Real E versus one of those managers at OTs, and Real E have been steadily keeping themselves up with the top 3 in the league. But last game, a 2-2 draw and 2 red cards, 1 for each team.
I like the look of Really because they've got those couple of, star players that you need to be successful in a game like this. But they've also got some less stellar names, like Lee Hendry, if you like, Hasselbank to an extent. I'm not 100% convinced myself on the batshit crazy centre-back starting out wide and running in. But each their own. Vieira can do the job of 4 men himself on his day, so that's probably fine. Obviously, for anyone that follows what I do, obviously I'm a big fan of Harry Kewell on the game. Think he's excellent in that position that he's in there. So it's a decent team, decent look to it. Bosnich in goal, I've just noticed as well.
Yeah, he's in to replace Richard Wright today, and it's put Kirkland onto the bench. So Bosnich is actually coming back into the team after he missed a few games. I can't remember if he was sent off, maybe. Yeah, he was sent off and then lost his place.
Now, I'm seeing quite a bit of love for Otis in the comments, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm presuming that's Mr. Savage's team.
It is indeed, yeah.
With all due respect to the kind gentleman who's been quite vocal already in the comments, which is always nice on a stream like this, I'm going to have to back really, because obviously I want Swans to catch as many people as possible now.
Yes, of course we know that Gondor cannot win the league, so
No.
yeah,
But
something's wrong.
no matter how much involvement I have with Swanee between now and the end, because he does officially take over again after tonight, but I'll still be around chatting to him. I will be hoping. I would consider, if they don't finish bottom in this game with the squad that he's compiled, possibly my greatest achievement so far in camp. Which isn't bad, because I haven't really achieved anything, but I would consider it a result nonetheless.
Yes, try and get them off bottom today in that game. Quinta Fortuna suggested it was a drug ban, and Steve says he enjoyed it for Bosnich. And yeah, Sam Alafife here for a big pay packet at the end of the season when he's inevitably fired.
Tato is not too far wrong when he sees the team I've picked. It's all about stop conceding goals, because there's plenty of goals in the team.
There is indeed. And for the OTs, so Mike Savage, who's taken over, this is now his fourth match in charge, a record of 2 draws and 1 defeat. He's hit with San Nazario still suspended, Bremner injured, and this formation today.
What I quite like is because of the rules you've put in, there are a few teams I've spotted that try and do something a little bit different, and I'm not sure why, but I do quite like this. It'll be interesting to see how it works. There'll obviously be a lack of offside trap, I imagine. So he's backing his team to work the press properly. There's some lesser well-known names, which, as I've alluded to, is always nice. And good luck to him.
Yeah, it's certainly the team that Larry has left Mike to take over from is entirely unique to the league. So there are no versions of these at any other clubs, and they're all that keyword intrinsic. Oh, the meeting will end in 10 minutes. So we're going to have to cut the. You have to pause the stream at some point, and the reason for that is that for some reason it's cutting us out in 10 minutes. I think it was the arrival of the additional commentator. So we'll play this match, and then we'll do a pause to the stream and get it going again, which won't take as long to get going. Yeah, Steve Wright saying that Jamieson will attempt 500 tackles and make 499 of them. He's notorious for making plenty of tackles. Prediction for this one?
As much as I'd like an underdog story, for the story that I'm trying to write myself, I'm going to have to back really for a 2-0 win.
2-0 win. Quinton going for a 1-1 with Barakat to score for OTs this season. He has 1. So let's see if he can get that goal today. OTs in orange today. So oranges and lemons up against each other. Let's see if we can get some goals.
That Otis kit does actually remind me, to be fair, of what we were talking about before we started, and sending our condolences to the family of the little boy in Blackpool. The Otis kit reminds me of the Blackpool kit. Yeah. So sending our condolences to his family. If you've not heard, the boy who was playing football out in Blackpool got hit by lightning and sadly lost his life.
Very sad news indeed, and sad news for OT so far as they are 2-0 down. Hasselbank and Kewell have got those goals. But yes, the sad news that we got tonight indeed. And it is at 2-0 so far. It seems like really trying to keep up with this top 3. OT's trying to keep up with the bottom 3. And Michael Jackson and Neil Aspin have taken yellow cards. We're close to half time. And it seems like it's chasing a third goal rather than comeback goal. One last chance. Maybe Kuehl puts it over the bar. Half time. And a bit like Grove last game, OTs haven't quite got going. Although they've
I
hit a
mean,
target.
that's as dominant as you will see anyone do in one half of football. That's almost disgustingly dominant. OTs have they never mind not got started. It's almost like they haven't turned up at all, which is unfortunate for the manager obviously watching it live. But sometimes it's just not your day, and this clearly is not going to be his day.
It is not, and with Hasselbank putting in a tap in and Kuehl heading a Hasselbank ball into the net, 2-0 it is. I'm going to put it onto OT stats straight away in case Mr. Savage wanted any subs. And just a quick one there. If you think that was dominant, half time the other day, Stackington, 10 shots, 10 on target in their win over whoever it was. I can't even remember who it was. No, Athletic. That was it, yeah. So your cat's getting some love. Literally, maybe.
Hashtag 5 cat.
So we've got Whitley has had chances here. Now, what I'm going to do when the Zoom does end is I'm not going to actually pause the stream. I'm just going to let you back in whenever you join back in. We'll do it that way, of course, because it's not like the old one with the videos where it would cut out. Now we're actually streaming, so you can just join whenever it gets going. My Zoom will probably end at some point, so we'll have a little bit where I'm just talking at the screen. But anyway, we can see there. What is Neil Aspin doing? He's put in one tackle. He's made one successful tackle, and Jamieson only 4. Calm, quiet game there.
You look at it, and there's quite a few of them been putting in tackles. So you wonder how really have been able to sort of prance through at will, if you like.
Well, let's just take a look at how they're doing, and it seems like they've been very direct, haven't they? There's not too many players firing in loads of passes.
Yeah, and the one thing we alluded to, for example, when we were, I'm interested to see with these how the centre backs were doing. I know Steve mentioned when I questioned about the centre backs starting out wide, but I suppose they've not really had much to do. They're probably playing as attacking fullbacks as much as wide centre backs at the minute. So.
It is a strange sort of formation, isn't it? Because when the team attacks, these two tuck into centre back. They don't run forward. They sit at the back. So it's a really strange one to kind of think how it happens. So when they're attacking, they go into the middle, and when they're defending, they go out wide. It's something to really sort of look at there. So Jameson 4 tackles, 1 out of 5, and he's on a 5. And Vieira 1 tackle out of 6, and he's on a 7. Yeah, there is a bit of a difference
Jameson's
there.
Name isn't Vieira.
Yeah, the thing there. And Tato suggesting, we know, Whitley's having a good game with his tackles that he's putting in. He's doing a pretty good job. He's making successful passes. But you look at the fact that they've rarely touched the ball. I mean, Aspin, what's he done with his 4 passes?
He's certainly not spraying them out wide, is he? He's probably just spraying them into touch.
Indeed. I think we'll kick off the second half, get to the substitutes, which are planned for both teams at 60 minutes. And it's looking, I suppose, like Otis are trying to get into this game a little bit more. Carlson, Barakat, Mendes with a chance there. They are certainly going for it a bit more in this second half. We're going to hit the substitutes at this point whenever we can. And I should really quickly go into the OT substitutes first. So we've got Adamidis still on a 5, and Jamieson and Jackson as well on 5s. Condition-wise, they're not looking too bad apart from Eric Carlson, who's suffering from a poorly thigh, which needs a bit of a rub.
Oh, tell me about it. I've had a home like multi gym built for a couple of weeks now, and I've been using it to try and lose some of the lockdown weight. I mean, I was never small to begin with, but I've just blown up to God knows what size. It's like lard land donuts guy, and so I've been using a multi gym, and I was using it earlier. And when I walked in, I was like, oh, started limping. I was like, I don't know if I've just got cramp or if I've pulled my thigh, but I was limping back into my own house.
Limping back in to do some commentaries. That's the way forward. So yeah, I'm just waiting for Mr. Savage to make his sub calls. That's all good. Marchant for Carlson.
Just while you're doing the subs, have to shout out your Simpsons World Cup of characters. It's great value entertainment.
Ah, yes, it's something that I suppose it was inevitable. It needed to be done, and with 112 characters or whatever that we've got, it's going to keep going for some time. Should give Dillis a call to give a rub on the thigh. Of course, Dillis, who openly suggested that she would rub all the players of the Falaraki 99ers whenever they needed it in the Red Nose Day. Sure. I'm just thinking in terms of this fight. 1.5 minutes to go. I'll end the Zoom call. I'll make 1.5 minutes of changes for really and let you back in as soon as you can. So,
yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so just pop in as soon as you are ready. So I'm just sorting out technical stuff at the moment. And that's just me messing about doing things. So the substitutes will happen as soon as I can actually get back onto what I need to do. There'll be a sound when he joins, so that'll make it even easier for us. Tell us what you really think of 5 feet. Well, he's gone. Here we are. So, swamped. You were swamped in the first half. Maybe you were swemped in the first half, Savage. Maybe that's what happened. We've got two substitutes planned for really, and I'm going to make those at this point. And the substitutes that are planned are do that joke you do about his little beard. Yeah, do that joke. It's like when someone asks someone to do their Ian Rush impression that never existed. So really, substitutes. Anyway, I'm right clicking now. Everything's going wrong at this point. There we are. He's coming back into the show. Lee Hendry is coming off for Ryan Giggs. If I can actually click and make the change, that would be really helpful. I'm going to share my screen back with Fifey now, who is back in the show.
Yes, guess who's back again?
Fifey's back. There we are. Right. Are we all back on? Cancel the joke. You need to check out the chat stream there, Mr. Fife. It's all good fun. And Hasselbank off for Viduka. The world's
Tell us
longest...
what you really think of Fifey while he's gone.
It's
do that you do about his little beard. What?
Exactly. I think we've actually bringing on Van Nistelrooy for Hasselbank here. There we go.
It's what he said about your beard.
Absolutely. You can listen to the show back again and remember that nothing was said at all. We are into the last 20 minutes of the game, and it's comfortable for really. And there is a goal, and it is Bischan with the strike to make it 3-0. Comfortable. And Van Nistelrooy makes it 4. This is an OT's masterclass in how to get beaten, unfortunately. And a beard sticker needed. And it is Adamidis going off injured. I'm just going to throw Nick Baker on for you there, Savage. He is the one to come on. And there we are, final whistle. So he comes on and performs better than Adamidis performed during the game. 4-0, very clear victory. a quiet second half until the substitutes, really.
Yes, and then they just sort of wanted to make an impression themselves as well. But again, it was just as dominant a second half, really. OT's had a little bit more effort and enthusiasm, but really we're never in any danger there.
Not at all. Not at all. And some thinking to do for both managers, really. Thinking, is this formation to stick with for the rest of the season? It might be. And for OTs to think about their just making sure the team's right. And this is not going to be kept for next season, so it's just a bit of a practice for Mr. Savage. The goals, Bischan headed it, and the rebound came in, and Bischan put it in. I'm going to have to check out the chat in a second and see what was said. And then Kewell into Van Nistelrooy.
Oh God!
The sound of your beard rubbing against the cat. Oh dear
God.
me. Yeah.
If nothing else, hashtag Fifey's Cat will be trending in the CM0102 universe for the next 24 hours again.
Indeed. I love an impression. I only do one impression, Steve. I can only do George from Rainbow. It's Tato who does all the impressions. Oh, I mean, it isn't Tato who does all the impressions. Dillis was really there that day.
Tato has a wonderful singing voice as well. He's particularly good at Ashanti.
Yeah. I think on the show that Steve and I were doing, he sang a sea shanty on that one, didn't he, as well, I remember, which was fantastic. And of course, it was done, of course, for the Super League at first time, the league, the original and best league there as well. The Super League.
No, not when Swemp is on. Swemp is the best when Swemp is on. Super League is the best the rest of the time.
So Jeff Whitley can throw the boots. He was the only one to emerge with any credit. I mean, look at this. Whitley, a 9 in his performance there. Fantastic from Jeff Whitley.
I mean, that's new contract and captain's armband in the next game territory, that, isn't it? When everyone else is getting 5s and 6s and he rocks up with a 9.
Yeah. Steve Phillips is a player who's kind of reliable. He's conceded a few goals, but he's reliable to put in a performance as a goalkeeper. Whitley, fantastic. Adamidis, 24%. A foot injury. In injury time, I suppose, is the right time to get it.
Well, indeed.
That's what it's there for.
There's a poetic irony about that.
And we are into the third match of the day, and we have in the commentary for tonight, in the chat, Steve is here. Look at the crisis of the team.
Unless he's vastly improved since last time I did this, this is going to be... Is he playing Cannavaro at right back?
Oh, there's an interesting setup going on here. Looking into the last time these two teams played each other, because we didn't look at Really versus OT last time, and I will just check that out. Really versus OT last time was a 1-0, so 4-0 is an improvement for Really. Last time round, it was 2-1 to Trumpton, but I believe they've played each other in the Cup as well this season. Is that right? I'm probably making it up. But if we have a look at their past meetings, yeah, they played each other in the Cup with a Radaby 3-0 win. So this could go either way.
Trumpton must have had the kids out that day, because Radaby are boring as hell. We saw in the other screen you were on that they're that boring that Trumpton had to score their goal for them.
Yes, they did indeed. Yeah, the own goal it was. So yeah, Milevski at the right side of defence, Cannavaro at the left side. Milevski at the left and Cannavaro at the right. Both Nestors suspended is interesting about this game, isn't it? Both Nestors will be suspended for this match. And yeah, so the Really centre-back set up.
I'm not sure what it does. It looks stronger, as in the players look stronger throughout the whole team than last time we saw this. But there's just something about it that irritates me more this time. I'm not 100% sure what it is. I think it's because he's doing something, he's doing something a bit out there with the centre-backs, which is fine. but then still putting the Great Wall of Stee in front of it as well. Like at least with with Real E, they had just the one defensive midfielder. Stee's basically putting just a big wall in front of the goalkeeper.
The 6 at the back, but then playing 4 up top. There's no centre midfielders in this team, so a full-on 4 up front looks like a decent attacking chance for them today, I suppose.
Steve's blatantly playing long ball. Just we'll swamp the defence, get the ball, hoof it forward, and see what happens.
We shall see what they get up there. The Arrows put them well up the pitch, I suppose. Those defensive midfielders, on the ball, but in defence, they can really take it. Yes, so Nesta suspended, and Trumpton Vice squad is the one with the formation experiments. This, I don't know, it looks underwhelming if you take the Arrows off, but there's something about it which shows an experiment happening. And Sigalko, centre midfield.
Oh dear God! So they clearly watch the other division stuff, because I know Ryan does the weird thing where his centre backs are swapping sides and the holding midfielders are running random places. And the last time I saw such a suicidal forward Arrow, was it not your invention to make Ibrahim Said run the length of the pitch?
It's Quinton's invention of Luis Enrique from sweeper, but then we both played Said as defensive mid up to striker. Yeah.
And why is Steve telling me to never wash my mouth out? I don't think you got that right.
I think there might be some punctuation missing. But yeah, a rotation from this. Yeah, I quite like this. It's like a little roundabout going on there, isn't it? Regulation formation from Trumpton, but these Arrows will certainly seeing Vieira at centre back.
What I'm slightly disappointed at with this is that the Arrows don't form a full triangle. Like, you want Vieira running into Ndai and Ndai running into Rio, the way that Rio's running into Vieira. I want the Arrows to be diagonal, I think.
I think the reason why they're not diagonal to hit a triangle is that one would have to go. One would be an off-the-ball arrow, and the other two would be on the ball. So yeah, I think it's to probably keep them all on the ball. Probably, I don't know, but Big Kid, he likes to experiment, doesn't he? And this is all good for the league, all good. So yeah, different.
Big Kid, I'm a fan of from when he did the race that I did, the rivals race with Rangers and Celtic. Some of the screenshots he was sending me of what he managed to get his team to do were quite good.
That's not what I wanted. Can it be changed? Yeah, you did send me that setup before. So if you want to change it now, then yeah, please do, because that's the setup that you sent me before, unless you sent me something else. So I did have that, but yeah, we can look at it. That's absolutely fine.
I like Plato's "he's here" in massive capital letters. Like, I'm now picturing it like Jim Ross from Old School Wrestling. Like, some massive pyro's gone off, and Big Kid's just walked through the curtain.
Oh, no, I've got Big Kid. Big Kid is absolutely right. I've missed a screen. There was a picture that hasn't come through. So this is much more normal now. So this was an old set. Yeah, I'm going to sort it out for you. This was complete. The arrows are where they're moving. This picture hadn't been sent through. So I'm glad you're here, Big Kid, because this is much more Big Kid style. These are just the arrows are where they're moving to. Lovely. Here we go. There we are. Much better. They're all going all right. I'm glad you're here, because I would have just played that formation. It'd all been absolute nonsense. Trying to ruin him. No, I can't ruin him. He's chasing the title here. I'm glad you're here, but the picture hadn't come through. It's arrived since. So thank you very much.
If anything, that's more conventional. I'm even more disappointed now.
Well, we need to change personnel. This is all going really well tonight, isn't it? So Kivu at left back, Duff at right back, centre back Nesta is suspended, which of course we have replaced Nesta with. We've replaced Nesta with Ferdinand. He's come in. Njai and Vieira.
Look, he's had a massive row with his missus. Already missed it.
Oh no, I hope everything's alright. Then we'll carry on with this team. Ferguson and Veron.
Oh my God, he's
Barry
here!
Ferguson is playing as well. Henri Sigalco Collins. This is much more kind of. I'd have liked to have seen that other formation. Yeah, lucky. Lucky's an interesting word there, big kid. Then the substitutes Frey and Okoronkwo. Ferdinand is obviously a choice that we need to just sort out, which is in the message.
That's right. I'm just trying to perfect my my Texan accent while you do this, because I always appreciate it when someone writes gold, GAWD, and I try and go full JR when I read it.
Here we are. That looks like it's right now, doesn't it? Just to look at the picture that's come through.
I want to see the triangle rotation. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I was enjoying that. Yeah, I was enjoying it.
No, the players just randomly running around the pitch.
I'm going to try it out sometime. I'm going to see it sometime. Yeah, so this looks like it's all sorted now. I'm really glad that tonight we started early, because we're going to have the longest show in the world, except the time when Tato and I took about 4 hours to do the comic relief one. Anyway.
Yeah, but that was for a good cause.
Yeah,
unlike the 3.5 hours of Steve talking about his ball back.
So
Big Kid's going to do the triangle in the future.
Big Kid, is that right? Before we get kicked off, is that right? It should be right now. After all that, Ferdinand's come in for the suspended Nesta, and then Saeed has gone on the bench, as we discussed. I'm pretty sure it's good to go.
Well, if nothing else, I'm enjoying the entertainment value of Division 2.
And the incompetence of the administrator. Here we go.
So Mike's adopting the triangle formation in future as well.
Lots of triangles needed. And so far this game is 0-0, but looks like there's some action for both teams coming forward. Not had any sort of real clear-cut chance. We've had a push on somebody. Again, attacks being stopped before they begin. A chance, I think Henri had one then potentially for Trumpton. Savage is getting it in the training ground tomorrow morning with his OT side.
In amongst all the drama, we didn't ask anyone for their predictions for this one. I'm going to go for a Trumpton win.
yeah, I thought it was just so long. I should have asked you while I was talking all that stuff out, but then you wouldn't know what the formation was. Anyway, it's certainly keeping us all going for tonight. We've got chances.
Just Whitley in the centre of 10 players running around.
And why not? This has been I don't know, not the most entertaining first half. A Veron yellow card and a Tomasi miss towards the end certainly brought something towards it. But yeah, there's more chances than I actually thought.
Yeah. This is possibly the most entertaining I've seen. You know, when I do switch on and watch these, I often comment, and it's normally partly for jokes, but how Steve's team are really boring. But, you know, they've actually been part of a semi-decent half there.
Let's have a quick look at the two things here. So for Trumpton, just to take a look through, everyone seems to be fit enough, and Veron is 6 and yellow card. Big Kid, if you want to make any changes, let me know. And for Radaby, yeah, everyone's still in the 90s, and there's been plenty of 6s. Yeah, so just let us know if you want to make any changes to either side there. So just taking a quick look at Radaby. Yeah, Maldini's been busy, but he's on a yellow card now.
Yeah, so is Vieira. Two men who you would automatically assume if they've got a yellow card at half time, they're almost certainly going to get sent off.
Yes, it's not the when have you got Vieira? There's bound to be a Vieira red card surely today. And then taking a look in, so 60 minutes for Big Kid where we stand at this point. Some people are not the biggest fans of Veron at the moment. And then so Njai doing a jobbing that wall with Vieira, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. You know, the fact that the score is still 0 tells you how well they're doing as a unit. And it'll be interesting to see if they can maintain it for the full 90.
Good night, Wolfie. Good night, Wolfie. Thanks for having you in here. We'll see you on the Division 1 stream hopefully later in the week. So 2 subs here for these, and we have got Crespo for Tomadera.
Very like.
And the other change is Bowyer on for Patrick Vieira. Unless he means Postman Pat. Yeah, we'll bring it. We'll keep it under 4 hours, don't worry. We're all good. Second half kicks off.
Oh no, Steve wants a change.
Oh. Swap is Zanoni. There we go. Swap is Zanoni. There we are. Just switched over. There. Thank you. Good. Anyway, to 60 minutes.
To 60 we march.
Will there be any goals before 60 minutes? At this rate, no. Chance for Ranaby, maybe? Nope. There we are. So, Trumpton, we'll come to you first up because Steve's only got 1 change left. We've got Henri there on 83% with his poorly groin. That's a Dillish job, definitely. Looking into how that is there. So, Veron on a yellow card. Henri on 83% and Collins suffering with a 6 at this point. I'll show it over to Radaby for how they're getting on, and basically you got 1 sub left. Got Maldini still on a yellow, and ratings wise, David Collins on a 6. I mean, we've seen that somewhere else this game.
You would imagine Riquelme could possibly come on and have an impact there. If you're looking at Trumpton, the concern is Bergkamp's the only real attacking option he's got. So
Bergkamp, he's coming on. He's coming on for Henri Thierry, and who was a character in one issue of the Beano in a Ball Boy episode. You know what I mean. He's in a rare one there, and I think the Beano where there was potential action against him. I don't think it happened. Anyway, Ray Parlour going on for Veron. There we are, and I assume that's all we're looking at for both teams there. And Big Kid asked very nicely, and Steve was very nice as well. Drop Bergkamp to attacking midfield. That's good. So he will go back, and I assume that will be to straighten those 2 up. Although, knowing Big Kid would probably have Sigarko out there or something. Or knowing me, I'd make it completely wrong. Just draw loads of arrows on.
Did you ever get into like whether it was TV shows or comic strips, like Roy the Rovers, or what was the one in the Sun? It was there was a made-up football team one in the Sun, and then you had like Dream Team on Sky One and things like that. Did you ever like any of that?
Is that Steve saying? Is that allowed? Yeah, we always have changes of people moving positions during here. I enjoyed Ball Boy. And there was a book series called Soccer at Sandford. There's 2 books from that. Soccer at Sandford on tour, about a primary school football team. That was a good one to read.
I think I've read that.
By Rob Childs, a Leicestershire school teacher he was. Yeah, it's awesome. Great book. And nothing's going on in this game. We've had a late chance, potentially. Bergkamp's gone forward and had another one. But, the football has been quite secondary to anything but football in this game. There's really some late chances still. Costanzo is having a great game. Mega Horse used to love the Hurricanes. I like the Hurricanes, a bit of the Hurricanes, but I more sort of preferred Renford Rejects, to be honest.
Oh, Renford Rejects was quality. Bruno De Gradi.
Yeah, Bruno De Gradi was one of my manager names at one point. I think it's in my 97-98 when I managed Juventus. I had Bruno De Gradi there, and I think Barry Grade was the manager of Middlesbrough. Yeah, Tato, were they part of the big series of footbooks? They weren't actually. The big ones were a different series of his. But yeah, the big kick and things they were. He did those unless that was Michael Hardcastle. I think it was, yeah, but it wasn't in the same series. It was the Rob Charles one, definitely, but it wasn't from those. But I did see them advertised. Anyway, yeah, the keepers. Big Kid saying the keepers ruled the game. They certainly did. 9s for that. Yeah, not a boring side, but two teams that have cancelled each other out to quite some level.
Steve seems quite upset that I've referred to his side as boring. I'd just like to point out, regardless of what the stat says, through that whole second half, we were discussing things like Renford rejects because his team were that boring.
Or was it just that Renford rejects were that interesting?
Renford rejects were quality, but I have to say I was mad on Dream Team as well. I loved Harchester United.
Yeah, I didn't watch Dream Team. I used to turn off Sky One after The Simpsons and stop and just watch like something else. I don't know, Catchphrase or whatever would have been on ITV. And Jai, great performance from Jai. Vieira as well. This was that, the defensive midfielders for Trumpton. If only they were set up a different way, we might have had some goals. But yeah, thank you very much, Big Kid, for telling me off at that point. That's what you're there for. That's why the chat's here. It's much better than doing it on the videos. Much better. Yeah, and for Radaby, Toldo, yeah, great performance there. Yeah, end-to-end 0-0. You're quite fair there, Steve. It was without the shots actually being that great, I suppose. Zanoni and Maldini.
I was going to say, all that result's done is Radaby getting a point does nothing for anybody, really. But Trumpton failing to win definitely has an effect on their standing in the table.
Well, Radaby's failure to win keeps Stackington comfortably ahead. That's that's the good news. Horse watch Footballers' Wives in a Dream Team. The only Footballers' Wives I've ever seen are the bits that were on TV Burp. Apart from that, no. I was more likely to watch little bits of Playing the Field or, it's probably not
Footballers' Wives was outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. My mum used to watch Footballers' Wives.
Is Jim still in the chat? That's the interesting way of looking at this game, because he's been up for this one. He's been up for it. Last time these two teams played each other, 6-0. 6-0 to Roundhay. It was that bad a game. Costanzo, that bad a game for Stackington. That good a game for Roundhay. Dominant. Loads and loads of goals. And it was 3-0 in each half. But for today, Roundhay have Vieira suspended. Tato, how did you know? And so then we look into the performance for today. We've got Roy Keane in the centre midfield position, running backwards. He's replaced Vieira. So the backwards arrow has been added to the team today with Roy Keane. Okay. Jim's thinking 6-0 to Stackington, which we have had our little pre-match chat about this. It has been arranged, the 6-0, don't worry. Obviously a decent side.
Yes, and it's one of those that, if you go back to what we were chatting about at the start of the stream, it's one of those that I appreciate. You've got the likes of your Ferdinands and your Ronaldinhos and your Van Nistelrooys, but you've got your Didier Agats and your Alan Smiths as well to balance it out. So, no, I like this team, and I always find I don't know why I don't, but I never really adopt a backwards arrow, but I always find it interesting watching other people that do to see how they play. I remember once in the Super League, I can't remember which team it was, but I want to say it was Churchtown possibly, but Samuel Eto'o was randomly playing as the left forward of three forwards, but he had a backwards arrow into an AM position, and he managed to bag 2 or 3 that game. And I was like, how is this even happening?
Something a bit different.
Running backwards.
Yeah, backwards arrows doing something. Just, I suppose it changes their starting position on the attack, really, wouldn't it? As well as going back to defend a bit, they'd be in a different starting position for attack. Bostock's Cup. Must be, Bostock Stanley are connected to Bostock's Cup, I assume. There we are.
Sure,
Steve's saying the same thing there as well. Quentin Fortuna this time. It's a good name, isn't it? Quentin Wilson is actually who Quentin Fortuna is. So, yeah, a good side for Jim. And this is we're about to watch the arrow fail, Fifey says Jim. For Stackington, we've got Milevski back in today, and that there rules out Paolo Sergio dropping out of the 16 completely.
What you doing the old Star Wars fighter jet formation?
Yeah, it's some form of strange aeroplane, isn't it? With lots of arrows. The front seven, the front six of the front seven, all with arrows.
And interesting to see Van Nistelrooy in an attacking midfield position. But you've got two of my favourite players in Balmer and Dai in the team, so that they look strong in their rightful positions. Again, similar to what I was saying, you've got Agat as well. Obviously, I've just spotted there.
Yeah,
you got some of the big names, but also some sort of lesser elite names in there as well. So I'm looking forward to this. This could be a really good game.
Something a bit different, isn't it? And so the changes involved this time round with it's Sergio out, Nikiforenko's moved forward to attacking mid, Romoshenko's moved to defensive mid, and Milevski's returned from injury. He will play in midfield and leave Said at the back. And Yahya has played twice for the team now, and he's looking quite lively. So he's playing after last game with the 3-0 win over Atleti. Van Nistelrooy scoring twice from attacking mid. That's why he's getting another go in there. I don't think he'll return up front this season. I think I'm going to keep the other strikers going at this point and give Yahya a chance.
What's Mutton been like?
Well, like a sheep rather than a footballer. He barely played. He will play in the cup that's coming up. I wanted to give him a chance, but I think he'll play in the cup for this season. We will have at least one cup game coming up. We do, and I'll give him the chance then. 3-1 Milevski hat-trick. That'll be an interesting one then. Yeah.
So Steve may have seen it already. I'm not laughing at what's going on in the chat. I've just had the Super League chat come up, and a message has just come up there. And we saw before we came on that it was Alan's. It was CM Legend's birthday today. He posted something.
Yes, of course. We didn't mention it at the end.
And we wanted to wish him a happy birthday. And Super League Chairman Ryan's just put Happy Madeline McCann's 18th birthday, everybody.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh well.
There's a conversation killer.
Kick off, right? And so far, there's been chances for Roundhay straight away. If we can keep this to under 6, this will be progress for Stackington. Romoshenko's picked up the yellow card, and a gap for Roundhay this time on a card as well.
I didn't get to ask you how confident you were. Give you like a proper pre-match press conference. Are you confident going into this?
I think it's just as long as it's better than last time. It's progress. We're looking for progress. Van Nistelrooy's taking a yellow card. That's the Stackington Van Nistelrooy's taking the card there. Oh my dearie me. And it's Van Nistelrooy with a chance again for Stackington. It's been a lot more Stackington these last few minutes.
Well, is this your away kit?
This is the home kit.
I like it.
This is the home kit, which is getting out until the end of the season. And then the new team name, this will become the away kit for the new team next season. Mm-hmm. And we are approaching half-time, and off comes Keane. The backwards arrow backfired because he's gone off injured.
Are we thinking it'll be Jamie Carragher?
I don't know. Here, Elguera, Janino, I don't know. I'm not even going to try and second guess Jim. I'm going to see what he does. I mean, if I was to influence him, I'd say bring on Carragher and shove an arrow to striker.
If you were to influence him, you'd suggest Chris Kirkland.
I could see Carragher coming on, but whether he'd go and play right back, I don't know. He's bringing Elguera on. Same position, same arrows. we'll get to. We're almost at half time, aren't we? 44 minutes. Let's get to half time and see if any changes would happen there. So, kicking off to half time. A chance for Roundhay just before half time, and then Van Nistelrooy puts one wide. Yahya and Milevsky, Nikiforenko. Lots of people coming forward for both teams at this point to make an interesting end to the first half. So, Van der Sar has been busy, and Keem's been doing a job as well.
You must be delighted with that performance.
Yeah, it's 0-0 at half time against it's a very, very solid team, and we've had lots of chances. So yeah.
But Roundhay aren't out of it either. I suggested this would be an interesting game to watch, and it's proven to be the case. You know, as you say, there's been chances at both ends. Players are putting in good performances. You know, there's good ratings littered throughout. And at this stage, even though you would suggest that your side have been the more dominant of the two, you wouldn't like to call which way it's going to go.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Jim, if you do want to make any subs, just let us know. And you can see that Ronaldinho, 86%. He is with a bit of a poorly knee. And for Stackington, everyone's good to go for the second half. But will there be a change? I'm going to give it 15 minutes and hope that we don't get a red card for Romoshenko in that 15 minutes. Because then there will be a bit of an adjustment at that point. In fact, am I going to do that? No, I'm going to withdraw Romoshenko at half time.
Don't second guess yourself. You'll regret it.
I'm going to withdraw Romoshenko, bring on Volodenkov, and adjust the triangle there. Get to 60 minutes. There we are. So Tato is going. That's great to have you here. Thank you for leaving during my match. But no, it's always good to have you on, Tato, and we'll see you on. You'll be on Friday night with us for the Division 1 show. Not the one show.
What?
Second half gets started and nothing's happening after the great start we had to that one. Balmer has scored for Stackington. It is 1-0 and the substitutes are coming up now. 1-0. Wilfred Balmer is with the goal. And looking into the ratings wise and subs wise, we've got Ronaldinho at 83. Everybody else doing okay, but match ratings, only Campbell, Riquelme, and a gap performing of the starting outfield players. So Jim, just let us know if you want to make any changes there. And for Stackington, we're not going to make another change, I don't think. And if I do, song for Van Nistelrooy. No, I'll leave it as it is. Ronnie off for Janino. That's Ronnie Corbett, yeah, to come off. Janino, he's not the most games this season.
Ronaldinho's not had a good week. People are getting rid of him left, right, and centre.
Oh yeah, you've got rid, haven't you, in the Super League there? And Henry off for Smith. Henry on for Smith. I've done a lot of ons and off backwards today. So we shall see if Van der Sar can survive the rest of this match. Because the other day, Barthez went off injured without a sub-goalkeeper on the bench. Now Roundhay make their changes without a keeper left on the bench for the rest of this game. Yahya's had a chance as well, coming close to getting the second goal. And now come Roundhay. No, they didn't come forward for very long. But Agat's just missed for Roundhay, close to getting an equaliser. Janino involved a little bit. Van Nistelrooy, it's an equaliser. There we go. 1-1. Rio Ferdinand, I think, has just taken a yellow card as well. It's been a good game. Whatever happens in the rest of this game, it has been a good match to watch. Late chances for Roundhay, maybe. They have been a little more dominant towards the end. One last chance. There it is, Rui Costa. Many chances. So many chances there right at the end of the game. A thrilling finish to the match, and it finishes 1 apiece. 22 shots with 15 on target between the sides. That's quite a match. And it's rare. I don't know if it's entirely rare, but I don't see many double-figure throw-ins in matches. The stat of the day.
I couldn't honestly say.
No,
I never
I'm
tend to look as far
probably
as the
well out.
throw-in.
It probably happens every time, but 4 throw-ins in 90 minutes to one side. Let's take a look at those goals.
This is sort of entertainment we've been waiting for. Two teams going at it. To an extent, it's like defending was secondary. They were just going end to end, trading blows, and a draw was a fair result, I think. And I'm sure you'll be delighted. Like you say, you were looking for improvement, you were looking for progression, and certainly
happy. Happy with that. Big Kid, good night. Hope everything is all right there for you. Looking at the goals. Yeah, Jim, great game. Really enjoyed that one. Massive progress for Stackington, but the result was fair with the performance of both teams. So Milevski's done plenty of work there. He's gone past Riquelme out on the right-hand side and played it into Balmer, who's got a volley in. Lovely, Mark Hughes-esque. And for Stackington, for Roundhay Van Nistelrooy, Saul Campbell chipping in the ball after he took on Yahya and the gap and then played in Van Nistelrooy. That sounds like a lovely goal as well. And
Saul Campbell taking liberties.
Saul Campbell, there he is. No wonder he was man of the match with that attacking performance. Won all his tackles, won his header, shot on target, assist, key pass. What else has he done?
Nothing that boy can't do.
5 dribbles. It's just he's only got an 8. I'm disappointed he's only got an 8.
That's a very good performance for a centre back. Like you were alluding to, he's literally done a bit of everything and done it well.
Yeah, and if he gets the under-21s job as well, he'd be absolutely delighted, won't he? And Jai putting in plenty of tackles here. I am surprised that not a single player has made it to a 9 for either side.
And Di making lots of tackles, it's like that. There's only certain things that are certain in life, isn't there? Death, taxes, and him making shitloads of tackles.
And it does have, it should be Neil Aspin and Willie Jameson as well doing those things. 3 points behind Stackington with a better goal difference. You're right, Steve. The goal difference must be about what? I can't see the table off on the screen. I know you can. Look at the screen there. What are we, about 4 goals apart or something like that? I'm not sure. Can't see it from where I am, to be honest. But yeah, it's looking good for all involved at the moment there. Great result in that match. Atletico Newmills versus Gondor. We're saving that to last. So we're going to Blues versus Los Aracas. And Los Aracas, Dan Hazard back in the fold, taking full control of his side today. And we see a bit of a change of system going on. Something that, I don't know, strikes me as quite I don't know, harsh and a bit spidery. I don't know. Don't know why I'm seeing that, but I'm seeing some kind of like angry, spidery type formation.
No, I could see why you'd say that, but do you know what? On first view, I quite like this.
Actually, it's certainly entertaining.
Doing something different with the fullbacks, they're not running, straight. Interesting that the wingers are, they're kind of actually playing as wingers. A lot of people wouldn't play wingers like that, especially when one of them's Ronaldinho, because he needs to be 15 to 20 yards further in the pitch. And there's just something. I know we've seen him once or twice already tonight, whether it's been as a sub or as a starter, but there's something quite nice when you see all the Van Nistelrooys and stuff. Something nice about seeing Alan Smith.
The second Alan Smith of the day, but not supported by Van Nistelrooy. Quinton, you are. I think it is 2 points between the two teams rather than 3. So Alan Smith, part of the Newcastle side here. 1 with Smith, 2 with Emre, 3 with Dyer, 4 with Johnson, and 5 with Woodgate in the side here. So
yes, I remember. Yes, this is the one. This is the Newcastle concept where there was it a minimum of 3
5
each time? Oh, it
There
is
were
5.
5 in the lineup, yeah. And with the people unavailable, we've got Bowyer suspended, got Agahawa out, Brugink is also coming back towards fitness. There's some promise about the side, and Walter Samwell is not playing despite the fact that his tackle numbers are ridiculous at times.
Oh, yeah, he's an absolute beast of a defender.
So we'll see how that goes. But it's a change from having the 3 at the back, and I think that's the reason of making a bit of a sacrifice of Samwell to go more attacking.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Los Caracas side. So Blues, today they've had to make a few changes as well, with Vieira, Samwell and Okoronkwo out, Riquelme carrying a bit of a knock. And the formation, it's it's a
Kind of,
useful formation.
kind of similar to what you were playing, to be fair,
Yeah,
with less arrows.
yeah, they've just a couple fewer arrows in the centre of the pitch, but this was more. It's more a formation that I look towards rather than they look towards me.
I'm going to be controversial here, potentially, and say the only thing I don't particularly like about that lineup is Nikiforenko playing there. And obviously, I'm biased, but I would definitely be opting to play Kieran Dyer there instead.
So I think, as far as I'm aware, Dye has been brought out of the lineup. I think he played last game. If I was to look into it, did he play last match? Yeah, he played and he was subbed, and he's been replaced in the starting lineup today. So yeah, it took an effort to put him into the side, but it hadn't quite paid off. And he's only made 2 starts, but not had the best season so far. But I do know what you mean. Kieran Dyer on the game generally is he's a great player to have, isn't he? Prediction for this one?
This one's quite tough, I think. Yeah, see, they've got the history in
Yeah,
terms of the
previous
previous
meetings
season.
quite a beating, but that was when Blues were
I'm
on a great run of
I'm going
form.
to say Blues will win, but it won't be as convincing. I think Blues will win by 1.
Just by the one. And Joe Cole, I'll give him. In fact, yeah, I don't know if there were numbers set up for Blues. I don't have the thing for Blues. What I'll do is I'll give Joe Cole the number 26 shirt because that's what he had for West Ham. Apologies, Mr. Dunning, if you had something else. Change of device means that I don't have your original squad list with me for this, and I forgot that he was making his first appearance in the squad. So let's get kicking off on this one. A 1-goal victory for Blues, predicted by Mr. Fife. Is it going to happen? Zeriberto's been involved straight away. Both goalkeepers looking like they've had a couple of touches of the ball, moved up to 7s. And we are approaching 20 minutes without a goal so far, but it's not been too boring. There's been
Blues
stuff
are
going.
certainly looking on top.
Yeah, they were looking like the team that were more likely to get the first goal. I think Costanzo's been heavily involved now as the Iraq's goalkeeper, keeping the side level. At this point, a yellow card for Van Nistelrooy of Blues. And then we are now in those last couple of minutes of the first half. Anyone going to put themselves in front at half time? The answer is... Oh, Zeriberto's hit the post. It is no. And that's 3 games in a row we've gone in 0-0 at half time. At least 3 games in a row.
At this time of night, it's all about the drama and the intrigue.
So, Blues.
We said that they look like they've been on top, and they have been. They'll be disappointed not to be ahead.
Yep.
But I don't think the second half will be as one-sided, if I'm honest.
Yeah, Iraqis certainly have the potential to get back into this game in terms of performance-wise. They're still in it in terms of scoreline, and that's a good thing for them. They're they're looking for a top half place this season. Iraqis definitely.
While it's still mathematically possible, I think everyone should be. If you're not aiming to finish as high as possible, then you're in the wrong industry.
Well, it is true. It is true. I think some people have realistic ambitions with their teams. I think if we were to look at, say, Gondor picking up 30 points over the last 10 games, I
No,
actually
but
I still don't think it would be enough, to be honest, because all the other teams have moved up above 31.
as has been alluded to off air, which we'll come to when it's the time. As long as they pick up enough points to overtake Danglies and then overtake Otis, I think that is a job very well done.
Indeed, yeah. They just need to keep themselves going, don't they, this season, Gondor? And we'll see
they've
what happens.
got one from, is it 16? 1 point from 16,
1 point
and
from
I'm
16
suggesting they need to
games.
get something along the lines of 10 points from 10 games.
Yeah, quite an aim there. Quinton mentions the Mike Duff passing so far, that he's basically doing all the passing for his side. Yeah.
That's because of his diagonal run. He's getting involved.
Yeah, he's moving into that defensive mid position, and Ian Hart's doing the same. He's on the joint third most passes completed for the team. So yeah, they're getting involved. It's something a bit different from Dan Hazard, and why not?
It's lacking. It seems to be lacking attacking intent though, because all the passes are by the defensive players. You look at people like Smith, 6 passes, Raquelme, 7 passes,
and also Dyer 1 shot, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be no subs at half time for either side here. I don't think, just to check Dan Hazard's things here, 60 minutes is what we're looking at. So let's head back in, see if we can get that result that isn't going to be another 0-0 for the day. And it seems like Blues have much more intent of going out and getting a goal. Emre's been booked. I think he took down Collins. And there, 1-0 though, Ronaldinho for Urracas.
Against the run of play.
Totally against the run of play, who've now lost Alan Smith to an injury. Well, so the plan was, if Smith hadn't scored, to take him off. Well, it's perfect timing. The plan is, as well, Ronaldinho up front and Laurent Robert to come on. So that is what's going to happen.
Although it might sound strange, as an away side that is now winning, that's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, someone who can still play that sort of midfield role but lead in the line. So yeah, see how Robert gets on this season. He's been a bit on the periphery of the side. Had a good cup game against one of the... I don't know if it was against the lower league side actually, or whether it was maybe even in the final. I'm not even sure. But yeah, it's that's the one change that they're going to make. I'll see if there's any other glaring requirements. The answer will be no. And Blues instruction, bad or tired at 60 is what we always get from Blues. There's nobody tired apart from Nicky Franco, so he will go. I'm pretty sure he is injured there. Well, you mentioned Kieran Dyer.
I did.
And he did play last time, but he's only on the bench though. He is only on the bench because of
Joe Cole
a
has also been
players.
included. Joe Cole's also been included for the first time, so maybe throwing on the unknown quantity is the way to go.
I do think this is probably what we're going to be doing. Just have a little look at it in terms of subs. Stick Cole on bench instead of Dyer was the original plan, and then we realised that Dyer was needed instead of Riquelme as well. So yeah, Cole on for Nicky Franco would work well. And no, but bad. 6s aren't bad compared to the word bad is not there. So continuing the game, it's 1-0 to Urracas, but Van Nistelrooy has come close to scoring for Blues to equalise. And there he is. He does get his goal. It's 1-0. We've got 20 minutes left. And a red card. Oh yeah, sorry, for Costanzo. Van Nistelrooy scores the penalty. So totally turned the game around here. The Blues in a short period of time. Van Nistelrooy with 2 goals. 5 minutes left. Anything for Urracas. Robert's had a chance, a good save from Quiotis. And then anything in these last couple of minutes would change the game, but no, it is 2-1 to Blues. Unfortunate Urracas, but Van Nistelrooy it is who gets 2 today.
I think it was a deserved win for Blues. They were definitely the better side. Iraqis came into it slightly in the second half, but it was pretty one sided.
Yeah, yeah, it was much more of the Blues. The first half was, if you'd have just taken it by the first half, you'd expected Blues to be ahead then. And here are the goals then. So Dyer's played it into Ronaldinho, who pretty much is allowed to run forward and shoot from long range.
Mm-hmm.
Nice one there. Van Nistelrooy, a header from a ball in from David Collins. And then the penalty was Costanzo bringing down Van Nistelrooy. And so expected victory, I suppose, in the end. A one-goal victory, as you said.
Yeah,
Boring Blues
well, it's
winning it
nice to be
all.
right.
Is what Steve says. They didn't beat Stackington, though, did they? They drew 1-1. And yeah, looking into this, loads and loads of sevens. It was not the most exciting performance. Lucio winning plenty of tackles. Van Bommel doing a good job in midfield.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right. There's a lot of sevens there, which is above average, if you like. But what's crucial is three men in three of the most critical positions in that tactical setup are the ones that got 9 and 8s, and so I think he'll be delighted, really.
Yeah, happy enough with that. And at the moment, it keeps them in second place, doesn't it? So great result there. Mike Duff, 6 tackles, 1 all key.
Incredible effort, really, that.
Smith, 25% and a 5. And his rating had been pretty good this season so far. They have a few games out of the team. But yeah, Mike Duff, loads of passes. And yeah, just a good solid performance. The fact that he can play as a defensive midfielder. I know he can't play central, but he always can be retrained to central. So maybe they
Yeah,
found a new role for him there with that run. Why not? Good effort from Dan Hazard. Certainly brings his side an improvement on when they played last time against them. 76ers versus Danglies. We'll see Danglies in their away kit today, which I can't even remember what it is. Let's take a little look at Danglies' last performance, which was a great match against Roundhay. That Luis Garcia and Aquilani at one point really caused a scare to Roundhay and just about got it. Retrain to left side too. Yeah, you can retrain him left side. There's absolutely nothing to say you can't do anything, Mike Duff. So, Danglies.
Danglies, from what I remember, they're substantially the lowest scorers in the league. But again, they proved last time out that they can put the ball in the net, and it's just about shoring it up a little bit, really.
Yeah, and a TT Camera role, I'm not sure if you're aware, but TT Camera starts off as the person playing the sweeper role and is moved there to along with the free role in the attacking mid.
Very nice. I think I have I think, yeah, I was shown this last time and it didn't exactly work out for me.
But yeah, they got 2 goals last game doing it. I mean, my question about free roll is, would you put an arrow on a player with a free roll?
It depends who the player is, really. I mean, for example, again, for those who would follow Super League, the big sort of question mark about where to play Zidane. And I think 4 different managers now have tried him. Some have done free roll, some have done no free roll, some have done arrows, some have done no arrows. And you can't get more than a 6 out of him. So I think the free roll can be a bit of a myth, but people like to use it anyway just in case.
Yeah, I think you've got to have a player who definitely can play as a free roll as well. I think there's no point putting someone on and going, you can have a free roll because you're a good player. But
I can't remember who it was now, but the one I do remember, because they made a big thing about the fact they made the player a free roll, was someone gave it to Vieira in CDM and they gave him the free roll there, which initially I thought was a bit odd, but they seem to get real numbers out of it.
I've never, I don't think I actually saw that game. That's an interesting one. Yeah, it's sweepers and number. No, I don't hate using the term number 10, but yeah, those kind of players seem at their best with free rolls. Jim, thank you very much for being here tonight. We will see you soon.
Yes,
Yeah,
man.
Quinton says David Thompson to get on the score sheet. He's back on the team sheet, so let's see if he can get on that score sheet today. Up against, and as you mentioned before, one of the other low scorers in the division, 76ers.
I mean, this game's basically got 0-0 written all over it, but because of that, it's going to finish 5-4.
Is free roll a player instruction? Yeah, it's when you look at the thing here, yeah, it is a player instruction, but in the sweeper system, it is what sweepers are given automatically. So, yeah, you can have a sweeper. You can have a free roll anywhere on the pitch if you play a sweeper and move them to where you want. So, yeah, so no player instructions set by me, just set by the formation, which of course is what we have to stick to in this league. Yeah, 76ers. I mean, Takanadi was really the guy that was doing this role before to quite good effect. Then he had a bit of a bad game. I think he was suspended,
I like
and he's not back.
I like Takanadi, but I also like Van Bommel. Do you know what? It surprises me when you look at the names in that team that they have scored so few goals. And I don't know if this is the sort of formation they've been generally playing most of the season.
It's been
but,
the recent
it's
one.
quite attack-minded.
If we go back to, say, playing Radaby, this is where their usual formation would have been in there. Although Milevski had a backwards arrow, as Takanadi anyway. Takanadi had a backwards arrow to centre back.
Okay, no, that. I mean, obviously the 4-1-3-2. It's like the ultimate formation on the home save, but as a lot of people have alluded to, I've heard people say it about Swemp. Obviously, I've heard people say it about Super League. When you're playing human v human, a base formation with nothing special about it won't quite cut it. You have to have that certain, just that little something about your formation. Even a 4-4-2, for example, you need to do something that little bit different with it, just to give yourself that edge.
Yes, yeah, something just little bits of player instructions or whatever, and that's why I suppose Swemp brings that strangeness to it, because you can't make the changes you might want to change. Leaf Lindbergh refereeing.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm praying it doesn't come back to bite me on the rear end. But obviously, for the story I'm trying to write, I need Danglies to lose again. And the fact they're playing in yellow and blue, I hope they get fucking hammered.
Yes, Oxford. 4-1, says Quinton. Would you be happy with that then?
I'd be very happy with that.
We'll see how that goes. And the game is underway. And its commentary's too slow. So let's speed it back up. I don't know. It keeps setting Danglies back to slow commentary.
He keeps getting sacked and you have to keep replacing.
Well, of course, yes. Woodarino, the manager now. Sigalco's made it 1-0 and 2-0.
Yes.
Down the Danglies. Yes, as it seems to be at the moment for this match. 2-0's comfortable so far. A yellow card for Jimmy Traore. And Sigalco's nearly on a hat-trick already. Nikiforenko with a chance. This is very, very much 76ers coming forward, upping their goal tally. This is exactly the match they needed. And Danglies, while it's 2-0, they're not totally out of it, as we saw last game, but it's half-time.
They say that 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in football.
That element of complacency coming into it maybe at that point. I mean, look at this. If we take Riquelme and Sigalco out of this side, no one's playing well.
But that's just because, for whatever reason, they're not used to evidently being in this position of attacking lots and scoring goals. The stats suggest they just don't know how to do it. That's why.
Yes, I think it's just been one of those days today, hasn't it, for certain teams with just the lack of goals from some sides. We've got Sigalco, Milevski towards Duff into Sigalco with the first goal, and then the second one, Riquelme has done well there, and Pellegrino beaten to it. Pellegrino in the team today instead of Son, Who's missing? Suspended. Neither manager is here. So we've got 60-minute plans for 76ers and no plans for Danglies. So straightforward to head in. I will check that there's no plans for Danglies, but as far as I'm aware, there's nothing. Let's take a look at the Danglies side. After seeing Milevski and Kaladze doing a decent job there, Sigalko getting the goals. What do you make of that Danglies first half?
Much like evidently the rest of their season, it's been bang average to downright rank. You know, they haven't really laid a glove on the 76ers. They're getting well and truly handed to them, and their ratings. I'm just shocked that there's not maybe a 5 in there somewhere.
Yeah, they've not really done too much. I mean, Steve Harkness to have made the 5 tackles and only 2 successful passes. Traore, 2 successful passes, and Sheru 4.
Well, what I would like to know is the opposite to that. So they're not attacking at all, yet Peter Crouch is doing lots of passing. What is he? Is he coming all the way back just to get the ball?
That's a good question. Where is he getting the ball? Or, I mean, I suppose 3 of his passes might have come from taking kickoff if they kicked off the first half. But
yes,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, does a sweeper system have something built into that player that they'll come back and man mark on things? I don't know. Interesting question. Titi Camara, of course, in his free role, moving about a bit, and 20 passes for him as well. But other players go home. Let's see how the second half gets on anyway. He started off quietly here, and it's gone back to slow again. Always for Dangley's matches. I thought it was a bit tense. Coming to the subs time, which is taking its time because nothing's happening. Look at that. We're minutes and minutes after the usual sub time. But there we go. So, 76ers. The only sub thing would have been Kesman for Sigalko if Sigalko hadn't scored. But Dennis Romanal is clearly carrying a knock. He's got a bad shin. He's been out of practice. And to look at Rui Costa, he's played 14 of the league games so far. So I think he should be in. Here we are. Here we go. Where is he gone? Romadal. Good. That will be it for those. I mean, would you think Dangley's obviously not need to make any subs? Would you make subs if you were in charge of them? You are muted.
Yes.
If you have been talking, you've been muted for a little bit, I think. Not by me.
Yeah, I mean, if you're losing, you don't just persist with it. You would make changes to try and alter the fact. I mean, there's not much there in terms of genuine attacking talent, I suppose. Luis Garcia would be the only one you'd really look at and think he would make a real difference here. Similar to what we were saying in the earlier game when we were discussing the midfielders. When you're 2-0 down, you don't bring on Davis sort of thing. So when you're looking at who Wood has put on the bench there, Luis Garcia is the only one who could really impact this game from an attacking perspective.
You're not wrong. Maybe an injury in the next 20 minutes or so would be a blessing in disguise for the side. Let's see how they get on in this last 25 minutes. And the game really has calmed down, hasn't it? There's been very little going on. And a chance... Oh, Danglies were going forward a bit more there. But into the last 5 minutes of normal time, Barros had a chance. Barros. It's surprising we've seen Danglies going forward a bit more. This is 76ers not killing the game off. And that's probably why they've not scored many goals this season.
No, but that will do them the power of good. They've got 2 goals. They should have had more, but they've also got a clean sheet. There was a few sort of mid-table sides only getting draws that we've seen throughout the night.
It has probably moved them up the league. Them. Yeah, you're right there. It's close them up to Radaby, close them up to Stackington. and probably move them ahead of Los Aracas as well.
So that'll be, with the exception of the fact that we believe they should have probably got one or two more goals. That's as, if you could write what you would want in a game in their position, that's exactly what they would want.
And there are some excellent passing stats for the team there. It's what we got: 1, 2, 3 players over 50 on there.
There's 3 players over 4 players 60 and above.
Oh, no, I'm just looking at completed passes. But yeah. Look at the attempted passes there, and that. Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? I mean, it's a masterclass of how to pass the ball around in defensive and midfield areas, anyway. And then that's probably what they were doing that second half. If we look at action zones, the ball's been in play 75 minutes, which is 15 minutes more than the average match, and that's why there was no substitute for so long. Mike Savage saying that Dudek can have a seat with Jeff Whitley. A 9 for Dudek. Yeah, he can survive.
Yeah, I mean, as we alluded to, Dangley's didn't do anything to impact the game. They weren't performing very well, and their luck didn't change. So Dudek getting a 9 when you consider how dominant 76ers appeared isn't really a surprise. It would just be more frustrating if it was me that no one else was really putting the effort in.
Yeah, not too much. I mean, Harkness put in one more tackle in that second half. Thompson and Bischan, 35 completed outfield tackles is quite high for a team. When you look at what have we got there, we've got 7, 9, 13, 15, 16 for 76ers. But it does show 76ers had most of the ball.
Yeah, they didn't have to tackle because they had the ball.
Yeah, a very, very different sort of performance there. We have got just one game left, and it is, as we say for the first time of the season, your team in this one then. Atletico Newell's versus Gondor. Mr. Swan is back in action from next match. He was giving his blessing massively to you to take charge of Gondor for this one. And you're up against the side that have dropped down to 6th before this game. Look at the table, the fall in recent times compared to the steady progress of Gondor along their same track. The team today changes afoot.
I mean, there's a lot going on there.
There is.
Interesting that he's got so many players running backwards against a team rock bottom in the league. But it's one of those sides where it's kind of a mix of what I've been talking about. Their starting 11 is largely, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, what you would class as elite names. But their subs bench, not so much. You can potentially see. I mean, I believe he's changed the tactics for this one.
Yes, some big changes. Yeah,
possibly, and probably mainly because this is the game with the most amount of hype for a Swemp team to lose a game ever. I've put so many different videos and tweets and stuff out hyping the inevitable defeat. But the fact that he probably had absolutely no idea what I was going to be playing, he perhaps second-guessed himself, or maybe it's just due to availability, or he just wanted to do something completely random so that whatever I threw together, it was never going to counteract it.
I don't think you can plan to take on this lineup.
But, it's littered with quality, but their form this season shows that they can be got at. And, in the last game particularly, Gondor shown they can score. And when you obviously come to look at the tactics I've put together, we'll see the game plan I've come up with.
And it is a different game plan for Gondor, certainly. So Fortuna, imagine a goalkeeper sent off for Atleti today. I mean, Mike Taylor in goal in place of the injured Barthez. Again, no substitute goalkeeper named. They're playing a dangerous game. Mike Duff is the sub-keeper, but he's not in the team. So
with what do you know what? On paper, without question, this team is a lot stronger than what Gondor have got. However, seeing the tactics, I'm a lot, well, not a lot. I'm slightly more content that we could put in a decent performance. just because it's very all erratic and all over the place.
Theirs is erratic, and yours is erotic. There we
Unhappy.
are. Yes, the unhappiest team in the league, certainly. But you've gone for the team where I've looked at it before. This sort of formation, described it in the past as sort of snooker table, or alternatively corner on a racing track, going around that bit.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I do like the setup that you've gone for.
So when I was offered the team, obviously I knew the concept behind it. I knew that clearly it's not only is it not the strongest team in the league, it is probably the weakest team in the league, and that explains why they're bottom. However, when I was doing various trials, when you showed me where the save was and stuff, and I was looking at it, there was certain things you could do, and because I could see that there was goals in the team, the most important thing for me was just trying to shut up shop. So that's why I've gone with like the 3 with the 2, just keep it
Yeah,
very tight in the middle, and hopefully the players, the 4, if you like, in the attacking half of the pitch can get the ball once and do the job. I appreciate I've mixed the players up a little bit compared to what Swanee was doing, but when he started messaging me yesterday, I explained why I wanted to do it, and now, like I say, now I've seen Atleti's formation, I'm looking at Van der Gun and I'm looking at McClure, thinking if we can get the ball out wide, there is a chance. Um, there's a chance we could do something there. So I'm not saying we will win with this, but I do believe that there is a chance, that there's possibly more of a chance than I originally thought, if that makes sense.
and it's perfectly right to have a feeling about that with the
And
complete sense of unknown about the two formations up against each other.
and I mean, could you imagine? Obviously, we're lucky that we're part of a certain WhatsApp group. Can you imagine Wooder's reaction if after one game, Gondor leapfrog the Danglies?
Well, I forgot to look at the Danglies. Last time they played 76ers was just 1-0. So it is a bit of a backward step. Song sent off. I mean, Song sent off. Song with 3 yellow cards, suspended. Yep, that happened. And now we can look at your match for last time. 3-1 it
Appreciate the
was
support.
to Athletic.
So I'm looking to improve on a 3-1 defeat.
Yeah, and it was Cedric
My,
Van
my
who
only
scored.
my only issue is obviously when I was testing it, what I would have really liked was to have, if I, because I'm only having this one game, I would have liked to have had a full squad available. The two of the critical players in terms of Souza and Melville are both out, and it just makes us look a little bit weaker. But I'd like to thank Quintin for the support, and I'm hoping we don't lose 4-0.
Yes, 4-0 the Quinton Fortuna prediction.
Hashtag SOG.
Mr. Savage saying a confident man there, Fifey. Good luck
Thank you
to
very much.
Gondor. That's the kind of managerial camaraderie we've got within this division
Yeah.
as well. But yeah,
Come on, Gondor.
it would be nice. I'm going to put this out before this game. It would be nice to see some teams that are massively strong to take a bit of a risk next season. That would be great. Let's see where we go. Didn't say which way. We just predicted from the home versus away. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Gondor 4-0 to Fifey. Let's see. And to Mr. Swan, of course. Let's kick off then. And a lot's happened in this first few minutes. Gattuso's had a chance and Roger Freestone has made a big save early on in the match.
Very nervous.
Nervous. And there's Ryan. Oh, sorry, that man who can't be named. On the left-hand side, scoring for Athletic 1-0.
Oh,
It's just the one chance for Gondor to come back into this game. But backing Mike Taylor to get sent off or go off injured maybe is the call.
Trundle.
It's been chances for both teams. Athletic holding out. Chances. Van Nistelrooy and Veron involved with each other. That not relationship-wise, but
Oh,
It's like Gary Neville, the co-commentator today, isn't it? With this, Makaleli has been booked so far. Seagal goes on a chance, and Freestone's made yet another first half save. And what a performance it's been from Big Roger Freestone, the only player on the pitch with a 9.
no, Giggs has got a 9.
The only player on the pitch with a 9. There we are. Yeah, Roger Freestone. Yeah, purposely not refusing to believe that guy's on the pitch. This is 0-0 as far as I'm concerned.
Do you know what? This is a prime example of why certain teams go very heavy with the elite names, because I would say that Atleti looked the better team from the text we were seeing, but it didn't look that one-sided. But their superior quality is what's given them the dominance that the stats suggest, and B, obviously the all important lead, because I've got Fallon supported by Trundle, but I don't think it's been terrible from Gondor, and I still believe if we can hold out, that there is a chance that we can still nick a draw here.
You never know. Quinta Fortuna, I like how there's no problem with Killer Clivert in this go. Yeah, I suppose I'd forgotten about it. I suppose other people haven't forgotten about that, but yeah, I totally forgot about that. But I mean, this is just a guy who's just out there to hit people and go for his brother's wife, or whatever. So yeah, 3 key passes from that left-sided player. Good first half there. Neither manager is here. Neither manager is here. You're here. Neither manager's in the chat. Is what I was looking at.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, I believe you are here. Yeah, I'm looking in the chat and going, neither manager's there. Of course you're there. So Big Noopy won't be making any changes at this point. Will you be making any changes there? Van der Hoon, just to take a note of him, is carrying a potential foot injury.
I did obviously provide some instructions in case.
Yeah, now you are here. It's all good. You can do whatever you want.
Could you just, if I make a sub, am I allowed to just swap player positions? Like, not tactics, but just swap who stood where?
Yeah. All good.
Cool. In which case,
and people have made little bits of moving around and things this season. While they're on the actual chat things, I'm all right. We had Bergkamp dropping back to attacking mid, didn't we, in a game?
Okay, can I please then? Can you swap Williams with Tate in their positions, please, and then Tate with Lampard, and Lampard with Van der Gun.
Is this Stuart Roberts?
Sorry, Tate with Van der Gun.
Who's
Tate with Van der Gun.
Tate, yeah, I was doing Tate anyway, yeah.
And then can you bring on Nardiello for Tate, please?
Nardiello. I was wondering if it was Stuart Roberts to come on, but yeah, Nardiello.
I was considering Roberts, but no, I'm going to go Nardiello, I think.
Yeah, that's all right. If Trundle gets a bit tired later on, it can always be a change.
Yeah, and I've got Davey there as well still, if I need more attacking players.
Yeah, because he's on some real firepower, isn't he, this season with his no goals in 13 matches. So,
come on, Gondor.
60 minutes we're playing to him. But just a big shout out, of course, to Roger Freestone for his first half of making 4 saves, but has also been playing well at this point, making some good interceptions.
Well done, Roger.
This is the Freestone we had early in the season for Gondor. A quiet start to the second half. And there's a chance for Lee Trundle coming forward. So close to getting one in there. This is quite the performance. And Van der Hoon is coming off.
Right. Wow. In which case, can you put McLeod back into midfield, please?
Yeah, McLeod into there.
And put Sadabi out on the left, please.
There we are.
Let's just throw all the strikers off.
It is 60 minutes now, so I didn't know if you're going to make a third change or leave it at 2.
No, I'll leave it as it is, I think. Thank you.
There we are. And to look into the Athletic substitutes at this point, I think they're going to take Mike Taylor off and put David Collins in goal.
It would be nice.
Let's see what we've got here on the plans.
For what it's worth, because I know it's still very, very likely it could get worse. I'm very proud that we are only one down to this team at the minute.
Well, that's it. It's a decent performance from the side to keep themselves well in this game. Subs on 60 minutes, just at anyone 5 or under 82% fitness. So, no, they'll continue.
Nope.
Nice and straightforward. And so, having injury to Van der Hoon, that could be key for the rest of this season. Gattuso's taken a yellow card. That's a surprise. Fallon's had a chance for Gondor. This is really keeping them in the game at the moment. Not long to go.
Oh!
It's Lampard's being involved in attacking positions after moving back in a bit further back in the pitch. He's actually playing more attacking. Sidney with a chance. Nadiello. This is all Gondor, isn't it? It's all Gondor at the moment. And then Athletic come forward and just put on a threat. Can they make it 2-0? No, it's been blocked out. Offside call against Gondor. Elmander, Said with a chance. Said again. Freestone with another save.
Oh!
So close at the end of this game. And it is a full-time result of just 1-0. And Roger Freestone, man of the match, with his 9. Fantastic.
That's I'm gutted, actually. I genuinely, when it's said, I hate. I don't know if Steve's still on, because he says
Might be
it as well.
asleep.
I hate when it says someone can't miss,
Yeah, they do.
and I saw Nadiello can't miss, and he fucking did.
Mr. Savage hate watching 1-0 games. I assume that's for. Is that when your team is at 1-0 or just general 1-0s? It was a good 1-0, definitely in terms of this game. Talking about throw-ins, Gondor none in 90 minutes.
Well, we can't score from a throw-in. I wasn't interested in throw-ins.
It's quite the achievement, isn't it, to have no throw-ins?
I mean, although it's frustrating, we were clearly doing some attacking because we've had 13 offsides.
Yeah.
So we were clearly, and at one point, not many teams that I've seen, despite the array of superstar talent, not many teams I've seen have had 4 strikers on the pitch at any one time.
Too stressful, Mr. Savage is about the things that. Yeah, I mean, looking
they
into
are stressful. I mean,
performance.
this isn't even my team, and I was getting overly invested in it. I was so hoping we were going to nick a point.
Well, you certainly seem to have enjoyed your debut as a manager in the league.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. And if anyone else needs to hit the manager go on holiday button, then I'll happily step in again. But I'm a bit disappointed in some of the ratings, if I'm honest. But like I said at half time, the Atleti have a significant quality advantage in their squad. So I'm relatively pleased, with.
Oh, it got to be, yeah.
The attacking players, in fact, are the ones. Obviously, Freestone was outrageously good, but the attacking players are the ones that have picked up the 7 ratings. So I'm quite pleased with that. That they put the effort in. They were up against some internationally renowned defenders, and we had McLeod, Fallon, Trundle, Nadiello.
Rory Fallon. So, yeah, I think... message retracted from Mr. Savage. No, I think you were right with what you said originally. Trundle my name. He didn't do very much, did he? At all. You retracted your message, but I'm still going to talk about it. You're right. Trundle just plodded his way through that match, and it was really left to some superb defending with all those tackles won there.
But I think if nothing else, it might have given Swanee some ideas going forward from an attacking perspective, how he could possibly get something out of this squad. Because from what I have seen from the time I've spent looking at it, they've got goals in them. I think even tonight, although we didn't score, it proves that they will attack teams, and it's just getting the right balance of players to get those goals, get the right partnerships.
And as you say, Paulo Sousa and Melville would certainly be those things there. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I was trialing it, I had Sosa and Makaleli in those two holding midfield roles. Now they're the two. It's Makaleli, Sosa, and I can't remember who the other one was when I because I put it into my save on my game as well. Makaleli and Sosa were the star players alongside Van der Gun, I think. So, if you had those two players, and like you say, Andy Melville was the other one missing, he is a better defender than Alan Tate. So,
yes.
Again, that Gondor team would still look stronger. And yes, Quinton's quite right. This game is exactly like what you said about the cat and the beard.
and the emails that people retract, but you've seen and you're not allowed to ever mention it. Oh, yes. All good fun. This has been a quality night for the chat again. It really does.
Yeah, definitely.
It really does add that better side to the league rather than sitting with one person and talking about it and then putting it out the next day. So look at that. 6 of the teams failing to score. And only one team scoring more than 2 goals. Apologies to Mike Savage for reliving that bit for you there. But the table affected thusly that Dalgety Rangers have a 2-point gap over Blues still. Trumpton keeping their place in 3rd in the league, despite the fact that they drew. They did draw, didn't they?
They did.
With Steve, yep, of course. And then Really, just 3 points off the promotion places and with a better goal difference than Trumpton. Roundhay with a draw, a good draw in the end, an entertaining draw, very much so. Mm-hmm. Athletic getting that win in their match against against Gondor, of course. We've just seen it.
No, again. Gondor, yeah.
I'm thinking it was the second last game. It's been such a long day. Stackington is 7th, a 3-point gap over Lossarackers and 76ers. It's a 5-point gap between Stackington and Radaby. Never mind 3. There's a huge gap there between them. I think I must have drawn I've done the table wrong on the screen. I haven't changed the team names. That's why I've messed it up today. So ignore the table all the way through the show because that wasn't right. And then into the rest of it, Grove with the table's complete nonsense. Quinton, you're absolutely right. Yeah. I'd done all the position, all the results, and then not changed the team names around before I put it back on. It is correct on my document. It's just not correct on the screen because I saved the picture too early. Grove on 14 points, a 6-point gap to Otis, and then Dangley's and Gondor, but some hope for them. Team of the week. We can see that it's an interesting one again.
Look at Roger Freestone getting in Team of the Week.
He's a sub-keeper on Team of the Week. He has actually been the starting keeper, I believe, at one point on there. Average rating 7.23, despite the fact he's got 3 5s in his last 5 games.
But not this time.
Yeah, it's a shame for him not to be in the start. Jeff Whitley's in there, though, of course.
Yeah, Mike's seen it.
Yeah, some huge appreciation for Jeff Whitley. Massive appreciation. And Saul Campbell made it in for Roundhay. And it's been great to see some different players in there today. Give that man a raise. Yes, I think he needs a bit of a raise, doesn't he, Mr. Whitley, from his current contract of £4,500 a week. So, let's take a look at the next fixtures, which I believe, if we look at the league games that are in a couple of 2.5 weeks' time, we actually have the Cup in between and then some international days. So
Gondor aren't in the Cup, so
Gondor, the only team knocked out of the cup yet. OT's knocked Gondor out of the cup in the previous round. We've got a huge round of cup matches that all the teams are in different ones. So it's a 13-game show, which we played in nice speedy action. We've managed to do a 13-game show in an hour and a quarter before. So let's see if we can manage to get that done. It will be very little talking about teams and things. Quick look at who's in the opponents. That's a massive round. And don't forget the match between Assi and Asperboda that we've all got to look forward to there. So those games are 4 days' time from this. And strange enough, also in 4 days' time as we played on Saturday night on here. So, yeah, that's the ones there. And Ackersburger. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one there, won't it? For
Huge game, that
Savage.
bottom one, look.
Just have a quick check of the news for your team after the match. How did they feel about it? The Van der Hoons out for 2 weeks and the board were unhappy. Sad times.
I think that's harsh.
It is very harsh. So, yeah, thank you very much, Vibe. It's been amazing to have you on for your debut and your one-off match in charge of Gondor. We may well see you at the weekend in charge of a different team. It's not confirmed, but it may well happen.
Yeah, just send up the devil signal whenever you need me, and I will be there.
And to everyone on the chat as well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's been quality.
And those people watching on the rerun, make sure you get yourself involved in any live shows that you can. Thank you very much, and good night.
Good night.
There we go.